Sanford Road Trail Run. Want to give you my first impressions and all the details. Then I'll take a run and come back of the Saucony Kinvara 11, which stays exactly the same weight as the Kinvara 10. We'll do a bit of comparing. It's still a 4mm drop shoe, and really the Kinvara ushered in the age of lower drop, faster trainers. Really the first mass-produced light trainer that had a low drop, and it continues in that tradition. It's gone through different iterations, a bit more firmer, kind of stable, some issues with the upper, but here in the 11 it feels, just walking around, that the Kinvara is moving back towards its roots as that kind of light, nimble, smooth fitting light racer trainer, and you certainly can race in these. So what has changed? What's different? Well, the midsole is a new compound called Power Run, and it's a blend of EVA and TPU. Whereas in the 10, we had Saucony's EVA Plus. I'm not sure what the Plus represented. So just walking around with one on each foot, the 10 and the 11. The 11 feels a little bouncier, as you'd expect with TPU in the mix, a little softer. And also I noticed, and we'll see on the run today, that its midfoot support, and here's our 10, seems a little bit less stability oriented, a little more neutral in feel. And that's probably a good thing, although the Kinvara has always been kind of a racing choice for those who need a bit of light stability. In terms of the upper, well, the upper is a very smooth engineered mesh, I'm sorry. There are very, very few overlays. There are some differences with the K10. You'll note the heel, the Achilles collar is a little higher. Also, what I noticed on the foot is everything is a bit more plush in feel in the K11. It's a little softer, and actually it seems to actually fit a little bit better, a little bit more secure while being more comfortable. Those little pods or pads are gone now. It's a more conventional rear of the shoe. You'll also note the tongue is now is a little thicker, a little plusher. And I noticed that on lace-up. It laced up quite a bit more comfortably. You can see there are a few changes to the reflectivity on the rear. Here we had a strip. Here we have actually two, it looks like, right in here. Now, in terms of the toe box fit, I definitely noticed some changes there. Our K10 had these kind of ridges in the engineered mesh, whereas we have none here, and I kind of can feel them fitting or folding over the foot much more than here, where everything is very smooth feeling. Now, there's a few other interesting changes, or maybe it isn't a change at all. The yellow layer appears to be a TPU layer, similar to what the K10 had when it was called Everrun. And I could pull it out to show you. I think it's pretty much the same kind of stuff, although Saucony doesn't call it out in any of the marketing anymore. There's nothing to say Everrun layer. So in terms of the ride, we're going to see. I'm going to take a run in them shortly. The weight hasn't changed at all, not maybe 1/10 of an ounce. So they come in at exactly the same weight pretty much, which is a good thing, no gain in weight. So the weight is in a size 9 should be about 7.9 ounces or 234 grams. The women's will come in at 6.9 ounces, 200 grams. So that's for a size 9 men's, size 8 women's. Price stays the same at $110. So I'm looking forward to my first run in them, and I will get back to you shortly. But I didn't talk about the outsole. So there are some differences in the design of the front lugs in the outsole that we should mention before we go for our run. Here in the 10, they're a little flatter in profile. Here they're more rounded, and that may also contribute to a softer feel. One thing I'm going to be looking at is how the wear, everything that isn't offset color, here black, here orange, is essentially exposed midsole. Nothing new for the Kinvara, but we do have a new midsole compound, so we'll have to be closely looking at that. So I'm going to go for a quick run here, and I will get back to you later with my first run impressions of the Kinvara 11. See you back, and the sun is setting, so I want to give you my first run impressions. I had a Kinvara 11 on one foot and a 10 on the other. And so off I went for a moderate, slower tempo for me, 8:54 per mile, about 5.25 miles. And so I was able to closely compare the two on the run. I often do that if the shoes aren't too worn. So our Kinvara 11, definitely it's a softer, somewhat softer, bouncier ride than the Kinvara 10. Also, I noticed over here we have a little bit of support. It's all the same firmness foam. We have something similar over here on the 11, but I noticed that the 11 ran much more neutral, if you will. There was less of a sense of this midfoot support. And as a result also, it transitioned quite a bit easier, I felt. It was quite a bit more flexible feeling, smoother, softer. On the other hand, the Kinvara 10 was a little bit snappier, if stiffer up front. So what I'm going to say here is the Kinvara 11 leans a bit more trainer than the 10 did. So I think it'll be a much more versatile shoe. Now, back to the let's talk about the uppers a little bit. When I first tried them on, walked around all day, I noticed that the 10's toe box, I could feel these kind of ridges. It was still very comfortable, whereas I felt nothing of the sort here on the 11. One thing I noticed is you can see the Achilles collar is higher, so I had a better hold on the Achilles collar. But overall, the overall fit is a little bit more relaxed here than in the 10. A little more comfort oriented, a touch less locked down, except the Achilles where it's better. So very comfortable upper. Maybe not the lockdown kind of workout shoe feel with the support of the 10, but this pushes it more towards the trainer class. And also, I think it's pretty clear that Saucony was looking at the competition. So here's the Rincon, and the Rincon weighs about 0.8 of an ounce less, about 7.1 ounces. It has a little bit more heel stack at 30.25 versus 28.5, 24.5. So pretty darn close. The Rincon feels a bit more cushioned. I took a short run around, but maybe not quite as flexible, as dynamic, because it relies more on a rocker. This is a more traditional kind of flexing feel to our Kinvara 11. As far as the uppers, clearly there's more room in the toe box in our Kinvara 11. The Rincon's a bit narrow, not a problem for me, but some people feel it a bit through here. So if you have a slightly wider foot, the Kinvara 11 is a very solid choice. More solid choice, I think, for a wider foot than the 10 was. Now, let's look at the Beacon. New Balance Fresh Foam Beacon in comparison. Well, the Beacon, and I took a short run, is clearly firmer and less bouncy. It's a great ride, but it's not quite the bouncy, kind of more friendly ride of our new Kinvara. And the Beacon comes in a little bit lighter weight at 7.5 ounces versus the 7.9, 7.8 of the Kinvara. And gee whiz, I felt it. It has a lower stack at 26.20 versus our 24.5, 28.5. So again, great shoe, the Beacon, but I think the Kinvara 11 leans a little more trainer. You're going to get, I think, you're going to be more versatile. The other thing I noticed is that the Beacon, and I sort of felt this before I even took a short run, the Beacon feels lower in the heel. Maybe it's because of the firmness, but our Kinvara 11 really doesn't feel like a 4mm drop shoe. It actually feels a little bit more. There's no sense of bottoming out or excess firmness. So, in summary, this is a great update. A little more comfort, bounce, softer than the its predecessor. It's a great option as a lightweight daily trainer at under 8 ounces. It has a very comfortable upper that should fit quite a variety of feet. It's not super wide, but I think wider feet will be fine here. It's only $115. It's on sale in February 1st, 2020. We're going to have a full multi-tester review of the Kinvara 11 on Road Trail Run very soon, but those are my initial impressions. Please subscribe to our channel and also visit roadtrailrun.com, where we literally have hundreds and hundreds of reviews of running shoes, gear, and apparel. Thank you very much for watching.